Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified. Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified.
Good morning, Zambia, and welcome to today's broadcast. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for making time to listen to us. Today we discuss the development overnight, the Linda Kasonde, Brebner Changala petition that was filed electronically. We dissect the details. Is a petition valid? Is it going to be deemed valid, or will they erase the technicalities? Yesterday, we attempted to discuss what an e-file is. If you're filing, how does the platform work? And I demonstrated that the current High Court, the current platform at the Zambian courts is not really working. And do you just send an email? What happens? Is this petition valid, or is it a controlled, detonated bomb? There are circumstances where, where I'm not supposed to use that word on social media. They can flag you off. But is it a process the state is trying to control, looking at the outrage that has affected the country and the credibility of President Hakainde Hichilema? That's number one. We do our usual updates around election. President Hakainde Hichilema sent invitations to regional leaders and to key stakeholders in the country who should attend his inaugural inauguration. So Cabinet Office invitation, surprisingly, names Hakainde Hichilema S as inviting you, as you are being invited to the inauguration of Hakainde Hichilema on 1st September, despite all these things that are before you, before us, that is invalidly elected, as the election cycle ended. And we give you an update on the Honorable Mtoto Kafuaya's funeral and the current updates, and then our dear leaders, Brian Mundwil and Makebi Zulu, hold up at the United Nations compound. What's the update regarding them? The state is fiercely pursuing them, and the state wants them surrendered so that they can answer to treason and insurrection charges. Unrelenting, and the state has continued to conduct mass arrests across all states, to people around Tonse Pamoze Alliance. Those are the four key issues. Linda Kasonde petition, is it valid? Is it a controlled process that they want to attempt to diffuse? Hichilema has already sent out invitation. Cabinet officer sent out invitation to regional leaders and stakeholders that they should attend the inauguration on 1st September. The matters regarding Mtoto Kafuaya. And lastly, our leaders, Brian Mundwil and Makebi Zulu, still hold up at the United Nations, a building. What's the implication? A special envoy has arrived in Lusaka from the office of the Secretary General to quickly handle that particular matter. In the initial discussions, when there was the United Nations country representative, resident coordinator, Beatrice Mutali, was just left for Kenya. She was trying to tell government that she cannot surrender persons seeking safety and refuge in the compound, and that especially to surrender them to people that want those charges, because there's international law regarding where you should be taken. Can they surrender you to someone who's pursuing charges that might end up, with life imprisonment or death penalty? Is that possible? And there were those issues, but we understand government is very determined to ensure that they get Brian and Makebizulu. So tune in and kindly share. We always ask you to share. That way it becomes easy. You then don't call people. What has happened? Where is the petition? We resolve everything we know together through your phone calls and through my broadcast and through the information that we have available. That way we are all moving together.
Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified. Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified. Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified. Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking.
Thank you very much. Let's start with what the paper said before we give you the details, before we give you the news of the issues that we are pursuing today. The Daily Mail says the PVT has supported the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and that member of the civil society stating that is Isaac Mwanza and his team, and I'm trying to get the full story here. The institution behind it, but okay, the details are not very clear with the Daily Mail, but they say that the PVT has backed ECZ result, and that the police are conducting risk assessment in public places to justify the closure of the courts. And then Deputy Secretary of Cabinet Oliver Kalabo was visiting and making assessment at the Hero Stadium where the inauguration will take place, and that 79 people have been arrested in security operation. We want government to come out very clear, because we understand the number exceeds 300. They are using the number there, 79. We understand they are more than 300, and we understand that in the raid against Brian Mundwele, they are only mentioning Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya as the one that died. We suspect from our reports from Maina Soko Hospital that there could have been more bodies than one that they had brought when they were trying to resuscitate Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya. Daily Mail is a state-owned newspaper, so its biases are inherently open, as you know. Similarly, so is the Times of Zambia. Times of Zambia is also talking about security alert, and they're trying to widen that government shut down key public offices over security concerns. They are trying to cover up the closure of the courts countrywide. They're trying to make it like other government entities were closed. What we know is the other entities that were closed is Attorney General's office, so that they could not, Ministry of Justice, so that in the event that they filed, they couldn't be saved. And they had also closed the DPP's office, because it's also somehow related to this process. So they closed key entities and institutions related to the election petition. They shouldn't lie about that, but they are they are a government newspaper. Cybercrime network busted. The 79 I think they are talking about, it's not related to the over 300 political leaders that they've arrested. The political church leaders urge unity, peace and security. Let's go to the Must. For the Must, they are leading with the story that the petition could have helped settle this dispute. It is clear that this election has been stolen. It is clear that the role of the army in this election has marred its credibility. It is clear that the role of the soldiers in helping manipulate, alter, and facilitate changes that were done, confiscation of audit trail documents like the Gen 20, has totally marred this election. Without a credible election petition, President Hichilema, even if he forces himself on the people of Zambia, will not be accepted as a leader. He'll be an illegitimate leader like many others. Our ranking will go very low. civil society have demanded for accountability relating the demise of Honorable Kafwaya. They are demanding for all answers. And LAZ, NGOCC, and others have all called upon the Chief Justice to tell us what this all was all about. How do you close the doors of justice when people are looking for justice? That is the must. Let's go to News Diggers. News Diggers is also leading with the story that courts were closed. The election deadline that was supposed to be filed by Brian Munduil and Makebe Zulu was literally prevented from filing. It wasn't filed to our knowledge because the courts remained closed under the guise of security. We produced EMV newspaper, we produced an extra paper, an evening paper yesterday, because when the matters are developing, the matters are so urgent. You can't wait for the following day. You'll be beaten by online. So our newspaper, we ran a special edition yesterday afternoon where, we're leading with that courts shut to block Munduile's petition. We concentrated on this petition that this was an attempt to literally, close the doors of justice. Let's go now to the main issues. Let's go to the main issues and we discuss what is pertaining.
Many of us in this region proud that you still have a judiciary and armed members of the judiciary that are able to do what is right for their people. We must be proud of that. We understand they went through temptations, a lot of temptations, and they withstood these temptations. Money, other things we hear were thrown at them. But they understood why they are on the Constitutional Court. Because the judiciary, the courts must be the place of last recourse where we go to seek justice. Injustices are done every day in our elections. We know it here in Zambia. 2015, 2016, we know it. But in 2016, our matter was not even heard. Yet the Bill of Rights is clear that if a citizen is aggrieved about anything, they have a right to go to court. And any court of competent jurisdiction has an obligation to hear them. It didn't happen in this country. That's happened in Malawi. We're so proud of that Malawi Constitutional Court bench. And I hope we can all learn something from that ruling, that you cannot continue cheating the people, the very people that gave you an opportunity to save them, especially in those roles. So congratulations to the opposition in Malawi, and one other thing we learned from Malawi is that they came together. The opposition came together. Here we have some oppositions that are surrogates of the ruling party who are used to abuse fellow opposition. But there, Dr. Chakwera, Dr. Silas Chidima, and others came together for a joint petition to save the people of Malawi. It's another lesson that we Zambians must learn. But more important, it's a Malawian citizen, the Malawian voter, who did not allow their vote to be manipulated. When their vote was manipulated, they showed it. They went in the streets to express their displeasure on how somebody had stolen their votes. They did it for months on end. It encouraged the judiciary. So you can see the point here.
Emmanuel Mwamba verified. Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data.
I'm trying to pursue the demise of the late Minister, Honorable Mtutu Kafoya, and I want to file a letter of complaint, and I was researching on the appropriate body to write to. So there are various bodies, unlawful killing, there's a working group committee. But I also reached out to understand the political detainees, the sweep of people that they've arrested. So I spoke to someone they connected me to from the United Nations Working Group on arbitrary detentions, and they were explaining, the procedure for me to file such a letter or complaint or anything. And the person remembers Mwamba Malila because he was a long-serving member of this committee. And how Mwamba Malila has fallen, a celebrated international lawyer from our country, whose career, my role at African Union, he previously served there at the African Court. Mwamba Malila served there, and he was vice chairperson, actually, of the African Commission on Human Rights and People's Rights. And by virtue of that position, he was sitting on this UN body that looks at arbitrary detentions. And to see that is the one that was actively stopping the petition yesterday by closing down the courts of law is such a shame. How a man everyone celebrated is now a stigmatized figure of how not to end your career. As a Chief Justice, he's supposed to be celebrated, because of his distinguished role in human rights in the past. And this is what I found at the UN. They couldn't believe it when I was speaking to some people. The UN is extremely busy with the session is coming, the UNGA is coming just in a few days' time. And remember, there's an election of this new Secretary General, and they are all busy with that buzz. But at least I found time to do that. Let's go to the petition and we discuss in detail what this is. Is it something we should celebrate? Is it a sidetrack issue? Is the noble goal by Linda Kasonde, Brebner Changala, and their institution an exercise in futility? I've seen already, it's like someone has written an article by maybe someone senior in the UPND government has written an article that I've seen it shared to 2, 3, 4 people, where they are stating that an application like Linda was done yesterday is not valid. Essentially, that's what they are arguing. They're arguing that you cannot send your petition to the email address of the Chief Justice and then you say the petition is valid. It's not valid. So someone has done a write-up already from the UPND trying to quickly, in the minds of our people, that petition should be discarded. But here is what Linda wrote late night. The Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Zambia, Dear Justice Malila State Council, I hope you are well. Given the security threat at the judiciary today, I attempted to electronically file the attached people's petition with the Chief Registrar's Office, pursuant to Order 3 of the Constitutional Court Rules. However, the official email address bounced back several times. I now attach the petition, affidavits verifying the facts, list of authorities, and submission for your further action. And Linda is being very, very smart. It's not her fault. The courts are closed. The electronic mail infrastructure for filing does not work. So she notifies the Chief Justice, who is head of the judiciary. of these matters, and she files a full petition with accompanying documents and list of authorities and an affidavit verifying the facts. You can see Linda Kasonde's petition was ready. Our petition was ready. The email, for those that were purporting that you can file through email and online platform, it doesn't work. So Linda sent the document to the Chief Justice, and then she shared it to all of us that she has successfully filed, in our opinion, because the courts are closed, the electronic mail infrastructure they claim you can file on doesn't work. So what can one do? She sent it to the head of how we will resolve the administrative issues should not be her fault. She's seeking justice. The doors are closed. The doors are shut, both physically and in the cyberspace. What does one do? She has sent a valid document, beating the deadline before midnight yesterday. She filed these documents. Yesterday, I was saying an online platform is just not an email you send. And I was bothering to state, especially I was answering my dear brother, Charlie, constitutional lawyer Charlie, who had said, why is the opposition worrying the nation when they can just do an online e-filing? And I was demonstrating that even the online doesn't work. That was at yesterday. And I even challenged all of you that if possible, see what you can do. File. Try even to send an email if it will go there. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all.
Welcome to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective.
In South Africa, the way it is done, at least I'm aware of South African courts, and which Honorable Makebi Zulu and the lawyers for ECL used extensively. Number one, anyone trying to file online first requires that they have a special account opened with the courts of law, a verified user profile on the court online portal. It just can't be anyone. It requires a lawyer who's like accredited or recognized by the courts of law. So a verifier user with a profile on the court online portal for legal practitioners, law firms, and those that are self-represented, they have to open that approved verified user profile. Then the documents must be converted into clear text searchable PDF format, and where they are properly specified using the court online system that allows it. Then they have to approve. You have to have approved digital signatures, because there's no online, no physical interaction with anyone. So you are doing it correctly. And you have to create a digital signature that is approved by the courts of law, by the portal itself. Then submission and individual documents then must be properly signed, authenticated digitally, because there are no physical stamp, no physical seals. So you create all these digitally approved skills with the online portal. And then you have to pay. There are fees that require that the application is valid. You pay the requisite fees through an electronic transfer system they've created where you pay straight to the court. Then certified for documents that are supporting your application, they have to be certified copies of identity or company registration documents to verify that the registering party or litigant, if requested by the registrar, can prove this. Then, of course, proper hardware. Their email have to work. Their cloud-based portals must work. They should have proper internet, accredited officers. So it's not just a matter of sending an email. But here we have a unique matter where the courts are closed. The internet-based process doesn't work and has not worked for years. What do? Linda did a good thing. Sent it to the head of the Chief Justice. If they want, they can formalize this morning, allow the courts to open, and she can file. Is she filing out of time? No, it's not her fault. You close the courts without justification, without cause. Tell me in the comment, what do you think? Is Linda's application and Brebner Changala's application valid? The UPND already saying you cannot file to the email of the Chief Justice. You are creating precedent, but the process doesn't work. You close. Chief Justice was the one in the forefront of closing those courts across the country. Is cyber-based space doesn't work. So she sent to the email address of the Chief Justice. Is that application valid? Will the Chief Justice, to save himself the embarrassment, to save his tattered image, will he allow, because of the administrative failures, the court yesterday was closed for purported security reason, the internet-based online portal doesn't work? Will he, for those two valid reasons, allow Brian Mundwil and Makebi Zulu to file out of time today? Because the hitches is not coming from the petitioners. The hitches is coming from Malila himself. He closed the courts. His internet-based online portal doesn't work. So who do you blame? Will you deny people justice because of your administrative decisions? Tell me in the comment what should happen. President Hakainde Hichilema is determined to go ahead with this petition. Secretary to Cabinet and state functions, director state functions, PS state functions have sent out invitations to. I saw an invitation, that was sent to one of the regional leaders, one of the regional countries, where they are asking them to come for the inauguration on 1st September. So they are determined. Even the issue of the courts is for them just academic. They don't recognize that an election petition is part of the cycle of the elections themselves. The elections do not end when Mwangala Zalomis makes a declaration. The elections do not end because Mwangala Zalomis has disbanded the infrastructure at Mulungushi. No. Campaigning, election day, declaration, and the complaints, how to attend to the complaints, are part of the election cycle. As it is now, we have not ended our elections because the petitioning process of those elections have been frustrated. So the election cycle is hanging in the air. That's where it's hanging, in the air. On June 23, 2022, and I'll look for that video quickly, President Hakainde Hichilema was at the European Parliament, remember where he says Zambia is now, in the Premier League. He says, I will never harass my opponents. I will never mistreat the former president. He says, I will treat with dignity my opponent. I will not touch them. He pledged that he will not abuse any human rights. He will not use oppressive legislation. And he says he will reform our country. It will be a shining example in Africa. And you could see all those members of parliament in the MEPs, as they are called, a member of European Parliament, MEPs, they all stood for standing ovation several times for him because he was touching the right buttons. Here is an African leader who will never abuse human rights. Wow! Here is an African leader who will follow the rule of law. Here is an African leader who will respect the opposition. Here is an African leader that will reform the democratic space, will expand the democratic space, not shrink it. He will allow media freedom and civil society, political and civil rights to flourish. They clapped for him. If you play that video, it's such an embarrassment. How the man has fallen far below even where he was accusing his predecessor, Edgar Lungu. He's fallen far beyond. Here he has just conducted a coup d'etat. That's what he has done. He has conducted the coup d'etat. He has turned a civil democratic process and he has hijacked it using the Zambia army, using Mwanga Zalomis and the Chief Justice, and they facilitated a coup d'etat. Someone said, Emmanuel, those are very strong words. Just, what do you call it? If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, floats like a duck, what is it? It is a duck. Everything, all the elements of a coup d'etat fit in what President Hakainde Hichilema did. Sends the military, they storm polling centers, totaling centers. They help amend the results. They alter the records, confiscate documents. The military. What do you call that? People want to petition. What do you call that? He closes the courts. He sends a military raid to kill one who has won elections, Brian Mundubile, and kills a former minister who is a colleague to Brian Mundubile, chairperson for finance, Mtoto Kafwaya. What do you call that? If it looks, walks, quacks like a duck, it is a duck. What President Hakainde Hichilema has done is a coup d'etat, and now he's rushing to a ceremonial installation of himself, disregarding what has happened. He blatantly inflated the figures from Southern Province. Can you imagine where you have results up to 60,000, 70,000, but only 25,000 voted for MPs and council chairperson and councillors, but another 40,000 voted for the president. So, and there's no proof that the other people went with their ballots home. No one has accounted for those documents, and we are supposed to accept that those results are genuine. And the verification process we want to do has been hijacked. Yesterday, I announced here that Mwanga Zalomis has ordered, Brown Kasaro, the CEO, Chief Electoral Officer, has ordered for the surrender of all ballot boxes regarding the presidential ballot boxes. Remember, those presidential ballot boxes are not sent to head office until there is a verification by all stakeholders. You will remember even in 2021 that way after President Hichilema had been sworn in, there was still a verification exercise being done before the presidential votes are surrendered to ECZ. Here, they are transferring all those ballots without a verification with stakeholders, a flagrant abuse of the law. And Brown Kasoro was going to make appointments, is changing election results. Or changing it. There was a vote tally that was not approved. And there are various people whose results are changing. And there are cases like, Mandevu, Christopher Shakafuswa lost terribly. Lusaka mayor. The mayor who lost by over 80,000 votes. But just look how flagrant. They take away a lead of over 80,000 and they turn the results and they deny Gabriel Kibombwe. And that's a story everywhere. An election has been stolen. Candidates that didn't win the elections. Look at Matero. Sakala was so decent, even congratulated the owner, went on Facebook to congratulate Saulos Mwamba. Then they wake him up, what are you doing? Those are hundreds of thousands of votes. What are you doing? You have won election. They had to wake up Sakala and make him winner. We've never seen an election this dirty. So I used the strong word that what has happened in all this is literally a coup d'etat. And like I said, if it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, floats like one, it is a duck. You are not far from it. It's not a swan. It's not a small bird. It is a duck. This is a coup d'etat that President Hakainde Hichilema has engineered. Let's go to the next subject.
Set the national agenda and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified. Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective. Set the national agenda and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary.
The update on the demise of Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya. I'm so annoyed every time I watch interviews. UPND officials can't even say his names. Can you at least bother to establish his full names? If possible, write them. You know, you can't be calling him. It's just indecent. It's just very indecent. Hakainde Hichilema has terrible names. But listen, when you watch BBC, CNN, they bother that they will not say Hakainde Chachilema. They will bother to say Hakainde Hichilema. They will bother. So you can't be passing your condolences. You are failing to say Mutotwe Kafwaya. Natauleibukisha walemba. Not Mutoto Kufwaya or Mufwaya Kutotwe. It is just indignity. If you don't know the name, just say the former or the late Minister of Transport and Communications. And to say on TV his name's totally wrong. I saw 2, 3, 4 senior officials do that. So the Secretary to Cabinet finally has been to the house of mourning and met the family. But Patrick Angona Watemwe Milando, he goes with Tabo Kawana. Tabo Kawana, how do you go with Tabo Kawana? And there was an outrage when they saw Tabo Kawana at the funeral home. It's like they came to mock the family. The family was so annoyed. But Patrick Kangwa, what are your intentions? We pleaded for you to go to the funeral home here on this platform. We said the person that had died is a former cabinet minister. He has been killed in the most ruthless manner. And his death is in the hands of President Hakainde Hichilema, because the commander-in-chief who sent, there is no movement of soldiers to such a serious operation where the head of state will not commandeer, will not give authority. That was approved by the president. So the blood is on the president. Even in the heat of all that, you are secretary to cabinet. That's your role as government. The person that has died, has been killed, whose life has been taken in the most gruesome manner, was a cabinet minister. And your duty is to go there. Once Mwasendele Kawana, the family and even the onlookers were very annoyed with that. It's impunity. Someone said, Kawana Mulwele. You know, it's not that we are stigmatizing it, but clearly, how do you do that? So I think that was the most insensitive thing. But I'm glad you went there. You endured the abuse when people began to hail insults at you because they were seeing a fiction of President Hakainde Hichilema, who commandeered, who authorized a process that killed their son, father, uncle. So there was proper indignation. But from what I'm speaking to, most of the people that were present, they were shocked that you turned up with Tabo Kawana. That was the most insensitive thing, Secretary to Cabinet, you've ever done. But I'm glad that now government is in charge, is discussing with the family. The family is have intimated that the body will be put to rest in Lunte. I have audio here which I played yesterday and I'll play it again of Bakanawesa Bachifum people from Kanchivia and speaking on behalf of the Bemba Rural Establishment. They've regretted the death, but they said they are still looking for answers. And they stated that when they bring the body for burial, and whoever will officiate from government side must explain in detail to the family and to the people of Lunte what happened to Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya. How did he die? They want those details. I think that was given by him. But look at the mockery that was done by these people.
Japare Freedom Paralubica, the miracle. There was nothing, there was no truth in whatever Vamundu was doing. Uyamune komuni wa NRPU, tumone ko barashala. Na babatesha na chipwa. Ulio muntu bale mfana HH. No kuomba kala kufe wino bukupofu bwaba. You know, when you do things with confusion, I pass confusion ikakwikanda. Ala pasana ngama kubita kulipono lusenyo ningo. And then I knew from the word God that mtoto free, and I maintained that. Tapa hapa filo muntet peta no kwati nimbwa ifwile. Mwana imukula dina no kulia mwalite mwafe no kulira. Palipo nefsha kulira. Me I knew. Mtoto is not dead. Tetu muntu atinafa. Tamusho no pwafuye na ngoba kashinemi pusi fya wakasha varia na pa nani kani pa mije tuwa mwana chao na vesha tapali fichiti. Kulira. Palipo nefsha kulira. Me I knew. Mtoto is not dead. Tetu muntu atinafa. Tamusho no pwafuye na ngoba kashinemi pusi fya wakasha varia na pa nani kani pa mije tuwa mwana chao na vesha tapali fichiti.
Yes, we are dealing with disinformation. So where there's disinformation, we put the truth there. We have seen that the Napupu running mate, Makebi Zulu, has posted that Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya was shot by the army, 2 bullets in the chest, and is now admitted at Mainasoko. We are here at Mainasoko. I am joined by my colleagues, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Mr. Machembo is at the far end there. We are also joined by the owner of the facility, the PS for Defense, Mr. Amaundu is here. So Mr. Amaundu, please explain to the people, explain to the Zambians. Is Honorable Kafwaya here? And was Honorable Kafwaya shot by your army?
It's a laughing matter. I think we need to be serious as a people. We need really to move away from fabricating information. I actually came through to Mainasoko upon reading on social media that Honorable Kafwaya was shot and is actually at Mainasoko. And I can confirm to members of the public that that is unfounded. We are at Mainasoko. I've checked the record. I've engaged the management here. At no time.
Be calm, to be confident in the system that we have put in place. There are so many falsehoods that are being thrown around in our country in order to agitate the Zambian people, for the Zambian people to rise up or create a chaos in our country, create chaos in our country. Just today, I'm just hearing that there is a rumor going out there that President Mundubile has been arrested. There's no truth to that. And yet some people have taken it as gospel truth in order to agitate the Zambian people to be calm, to be confident in the system that we have put in place.
You can imagine the mockery that happened. We now know the facts that they took a bleeding, profusely bleeding Mtoto Kafwaya. There were attempts to resuscitate him, but those 2 fatal shots from a military gun from armed commandos at short range, you know, he couldn't survive. And government has not accounted for other persons that could have died in the raid, and we keep on asking that question. Now, the following day, because Brian Mundubile had broken the record here that Mtoto Kafwaya was shot twice in the evening. In the morning, Thabo Kawana took those 2 permanent secretaries, Mambo, Hamaundu, and Dixon Matembo. And you can see the mockery, calling it a laughing matter, and that he had checked the records. Yet the records show that they had brought Mtoto Kafwaya in the night. They attempted to resuscitate him. It was in vain. By 22 hours, they took him to the morgue. And there they were lying. No implication. President Hakainde Hichilema will not even punish them or even fire them or call for discipline or even apologize. He would do none of that. And coming to that, Mr. President, why are you quiet on the demise of Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya? Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya was a senior leader in our country. You have not acknowledged his death. You have not passed your condolences. You are head of state, and you are pleading that we should treat you like father of our nation, that we should treat you like our head of state. Yet you have failed to recognize the death of Honorable Mtwetu Kafwaya. You have failed to send condolences. You have failed to acknowledge his demise. Do you want to do what you did to the late President Edgar Lungu, where it took you 7 days to address the nation over the demise of the late president? Because all we saw was Patrick Kangwa, the hapless Kangwa, is the one that came to announce the demise of the late President Edgar Lungu. You never addressed us. There was a Facebook posting whose language was even terrible, quite insensitive, until pressure mounted after 7 days. That's when you recognize the late president, set up a funeral at Belvedere, and then you address the nation. Here, a former minister has died. It's just imperative, it's only decent to recognize the demise and pass your condolences. Yes, blood is on you. You directed the military raid, an assassination plot on Brian Munduvile, ended up in the fatal shooting of Mutotwe Kafwaya. His inauguration on 1st September. Have you noted who has congratulated him, who has not? See the regional leaders like South Africa that have not congratulated him to date, Zimbabwe and others. For us in the diplomatic community, what you say and what you do not say amounts to a lot of communication. South Africa is a powerhouse. It sits on the G20. It's a powerhouse in the diplomatic and international sphere of both Africa and the world. And they've restrained themselves from congratulating you, Mr. President. Probably that's why you should have allowed the petition with your judges. Probably. And you don't trust your own judges. Huh? You appoint your judges to the Superior Court. You promote them. You've appointed up to 100 judges over the last 3 years. But you don't trust even your judges. Just like you don't trust the ECZ. Your own people do elections. You people that were recruited as post staff through an accreditation and up to test process, you remove all of them. And then you bring your own people at the last minute, all of them from your region. They tell you have lost the election. You say, no, Brian Munduvile hired teachers up to 40,000. Your Brian Munduvile alikuwa tamaka. Hilo alikuwa tenda lama. Up to 40,000 teachers were hired and post staff to report Gen 20 results that were different from what the people voted. Yo alikuwa tamaka Brian Munduvile. Someone was asking me a very fundamental question, that why has the president risked it all? Why has he thrown the human rights record in the dustbin, good governance record in the dustbin? He's not even pretending. He has behaved like some leaders in the region did a crackdown on his political opponents, accuse them of forming this phantom militia. Why has he done this? I understand why he has done it. First, he has Greg Mills and he has Tony Blair. And the two who are his critical advisors have said they will do a cleanup. They will clean up his image. We have seen how they've tried to suppress the news of election petition, of election dispute in South African newspaper. It had to take here in New York 2 strong articles, and I think one story in Paris that exposed the flaws of these elections. And a lot of people are disappointed with the Dingy, Jonah and his reports, his apologetic reports to BBC. But I said, no, he's our celebrated young man. He could be under pressure. We don't know the forces he's playing with. If he's taken a partisan role, I don't know. But I refuse to condemn Dingy, so I haven't discussed him here. But a lot of people, even, all his reports, his interview with Brian Munduvile, all these things in the way he has structured all the reports. But I said, he's a young man, let's celebrate him, and he will grow. He will use this as an experience that that Zambia is bigger than any individual or any partisan interest, and that he works for a reputable institution like BBC. So no, we'll not discuss Dingy. So they were saying, but why is he blunt? Said they are his advisors. Zambia's critical minerals, copper, gold, cobalt, manganese, lithium, it has all these. So we are sought after. The Congo, whether there's a sham election or not, all the major mining houses from Australia, Canadians, Europeans are all in the Congo. And Congo has become the second largest producer of copper. 3.2 million metric tons in a period of 3 years. Imwe, 3 million metric tons in a period of 10 years. That's your forecast. Congo has done it from 600,000 metric tons just 5 years ago. Congo is producing 3.2 million metric tons. So his advisors are saying, look, for us, we are interested who controls this. If you are the one that will control the critical minerals, we are with you. We have the Lobito Corridor program that we are doing with you, but we have seen that the EU, which had promoted him and hosted him in Parliament, where he made this grandiose pronouncement, and he has fallen from them and is now an embarrassment. They also not congratulated him for his electoral victory. So that's in the diplomatic space where key countries have not congratulated him. There are those that just says we're not on an election cycle, an election has taken place and there's a winner, and we do formal congratulations, and we don't care about the details of whether there's an election petition, whether that election was free and fair. It's a matter in the knot, in a calendar of events, that, if a neighbor has had a celebration or a demise, you just acknowledge. So there are those that have done those congratulated in a formal manner. And we will watch who will come to his inauguration. Obviously, Tanzania, Solomia, our dear mother, will come. Mozambique went through a bloody period like this before the current president was installed as president. And even in the post-electoral process, Mozambique was caught up in a vicious protest by Mozambicans. So he will come. We will watch others that will come to this sham of to come and recognize the outcome of this sham election. We want to Akwalesa. I hope to take a rest, so I will not be here for a long time. I think we have done the review of. Someone says, where are your colleagues? Indeed, Mamono Kunaka, Ishishi Venawa Nandi, Sampa, and Wachandakazi and Augustine, if they are there. I was so late to come to the broadcast, and I just rushed into the broadcast. Let me check for my colleagues if they are there before we discuss this coup d'etat you are calling an election.
Yes, okay. So you asked me how I am, and you asked me whether the closure of the courts is the democracy that we want. And in response to your question, I can say this, that I am not well. I cannot be well under these circumstances that we are seeing and what we've been seeing in the last few days and maybe a week now. As to the question of is this the democracy that we want? Honestly speaking, I do not know of any democratic system in which the premises upon which this cannot be regarded to be a democracy. Because I don't know anywhere else where they close the premises of the Constitutional Court or any court when it is well known that a petition was going to be filed on what we regarded to be a last day for filing in of a petition after a major presidential and general election. This is not the Zambia we want. And we have to be told why the court premises has been closed and what does this mean? Has the Constitution been suspended? Has there been a declaration of a state of emergency in which all rules and regulations have changed? One dare even ask, is there a martial law? Is there a martial law in this country? And should I be afraid that because I'm asking these questions, they will come after me and arrest me? This is not right. This is not right.
to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on.
The lines are open. We are discussing Linda Kasonde's petition to the Constitutional Court. We know the application we really wanted is that of Brian Mundwile and Makebi Zulu, who are active participants in this election. And before I just open the phone lines, let me speak about Brian Mundwile and Makebi Zulu. Then I invite you to comment about it. But there's a caller here already before I go to the issues of Brian Mundwile and Makebi Zulu. Okay. And good that the caller has gone. So, leading presidential candidate Brian Mundwile, who many people widely believe won this election, in light of the irregularities, the inflated figures from Southern Province and other key places like Solwezi, there are these that they targeted. Many widely believe in ordinary circumstances, Brian Mundwile won this election on ordinary total, and that's why there was this intervention. And Makebi Zulu are still holed up at the United Nations compound. Brian Mundwile and Makebi Zulu, there was a lot of pressure on Beatrice Mutali. Beatrice Mutali was a UN resident coordinator, and her term had come to an end, but the UN had advised her that she should only leave after delivering the election. When Brian Mundwile and Makebi Zulu sought refuge there for the fear of their lives, a raid had just been conducted on Brian Mundwile's home with his family, where Mtoto Kafwaya was killed. They didn't feel safe anywhere. And we know that that was a strong assassination plot. It was just not a so-called military raid against militia. There was no militia. You and I know that there is no such thing as militia. It's a phantom story. And in the comment, tell me if you still believe the first story of militia. Does it still hold water? Hasn't it been exposed by all these machinations? Kwa wao wina ma election uletina waingisha bola uletina VAR ule kanya ba referee ati be Monaco ule wakanya VAR nishina wina na uingisha akakato na uingisha fe wino but ule wakanya ati be Monaco pa VAR. Come on. The story of the militia, I think it made sense just that same day, alarmed the nation. But when people come down and say, come on, Mr. President, you're not speaking to children. Where is the evidence? And there's been none. Where is the justification? You've been investigating for 2 years. Why did you allow them to participate in elections? A matter of the coup is dealt with immediately. In fact, if you know of a coup, just by knowledge, it's called misprision of treason. Misprision of, what's the correct one? Misprision of treason. Just your knowledge that there are people planning, you can be arrested. So who are these people that have known about this plot for 2 years and you have not arrested them? Arrest them. That's what the law says. The law is very clear that you should report immediately if there is anyone, because that's how serious any issue of insurrection or coup or unconstitutional takeover of any government is. That even by your knowledge, even if you are a wife and your husband is planning that and you don't report, you are also arrested. So they say this plot has been going on for 2 years. So Brian and Makebi are still at the UN compound. The United Nations, from the office of the Secretary General, have sent someone in Zambia, and there are negotiations already underway. UN standards, especially the charges that they are proposing to charge Brian Mundwile and Makebi Zulu, requires that they can't be handed over to Zambia. They cannot. They have to be handed to a third party or a country of their choice. But President Hakainde Hichilema must put his foot down. They leave the UN compound, he will have them arrested. And you saw the Inspector General of Police say they'll be treated in the most humane way. Come on. You are torturing even an innocent guy like Patrick Mwansa, who has done nothing wrong. you kill Mtoto Kafwai. How can you be trusted? You are arresting people without giving him bond or bail. The law says within 48 hours. How long have you kept the people that you have kept without any charge? How long have you kept them? So which law will you follow? So the two are very safe, but their communication is extremely limited because they are in a neutral facility of the UN. They do not want them to make phone calls. They don't want them to make statements. So they are not in charge of their phones. They have to abide by the rules because the UN is resident in Zambia. There are diplomatic things they can do and they can't do. And one of the key things is the people that they are sheltering from this violent attack from the state and these machinations from President Hakainde Hichilema. They cannot, for example, allow them phones and they hear a leakage that someone has conducted a press conference or someone has issued a statement. They're under that condition. They are safe, but we don't know for how long. We don't know how long these negotiations will go. As at yesterday, the Zambian government was insisting that Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu must be surrendered to the state to answer to the charges. And we wish to assure you nothing will happen to them. Zambia follows the due process of the law. Zambia, which has just conducted a coup d'etat, Zambia follows the rule of law. The Inspector General of Police, who has just tortured some of the people they got from the residence. A police force that has given treason charges to Bishop Trevor Mwambashua, George Chisanga. You say that's a fair process. Come on. So you can speak to those three issues. Linda Kasonde's petition. And it brings me to an issue. You, like I reprimanded you, don't think Linda will save the country. Don't think Donald Trump will save the country. The EU will save. It is you. Here, Linda Kasonde has done a very brave thing. Why don't you raise pressure to ensure that the Chief Justice accept that petition? It's not our fault that the offices were closed by the Chief Justice. It's not our fault that the internet-based online portal doesn't work. It's not our fault. But what are you doing? She has done her part. She has filed a valid petition. They've prevented Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu from filing theirs. You, as a citizen who voted, what are you doing to protect the results? You voted, you protected the vote. At least we have those Gen 20. What are you doing to protect the results? Here, Linda Kasonde has done one of the most noble things. What pressure will you create to ensure that our application is done? No one will do these things for you other than yourselves. You voted, it's your country. You must take charge of its outcome. It's not President Hakainde Hichilema's country. It's not his. Zambia is our country together. So nedo muletuma mwishibe ifyo. Not that yo, so Bushena Basum Nishefia kwa Linda Kasonde, she has done her part. Iwe, what are you doing about it? So let's take your phone calls and hear from you.
MV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba verified.
This one where my sister carry me like this. May not
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I'll remain anonymous, Mr.
Thank
Mwamba.
you. Thank you, Anonymous.
Emkwai mwa shibuka shani na ponga bushiku nemi posha kuno koturi. Emkwai ba Mwamba na chila fo kwipisha ifumatando kwe bati bishe mumwe mazambi anzimule chidenshi. I think ngirine that we shiva afoti firo kuchita fwe bantu. Ndeko kwipisha what is it that we're supposed to do? What is expected of us? That ufoko bati balinda na bati petition. Former citizens, finish for the kuchita. Because we want to dealing and follow you. We need to know what are we supposed to do, Mwamba. Thank you so much.
I'm not going to direct citizens what to do. The Constitution provides when you are dissatisfied what you should do. You can conduct peaceful protests. You can conduct peaceful demonstration. You can conduct, the Constitution provides you with mechanisms in which you can assert your civil and political rights. I'm not one who's supposed to direct you. You should know what to do as citizens.
Okay. I think that is why we are getting it all wrong as citizens. It's like that we have Constitution. We don't know what is in the Constitution. What we are required to do as Ama citizens. Now that we know, I think maybe we can come up with something. But then the fear of the people is that once they go out there, conduct peaceful demonstration, you know how this regime is. It's like people are just scared. I won't blame it on Bachuruva. You know, it was a good thing that Bachuruva declares Zambia as a Christian nation. But again, it has disadvantages. Because in everything that we do, if we see injustices, we will tell ourselves to say we are a Christian nation. We are not supposed to do this. We are not supposed to do that.
Oh, the Christians people shouldn't even refer to the Bible. The wars that were waged, the people of Israel, the Joshuas, the Gideons, come on. People should not even go to the Bible. The Bible is even more stronger in those areas. Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution. Naba mukolo baleli la mlikumushi, that's good. London pomayo.
Linda Kasonde. Umuntu wate mwabantu, umuntu wate mwechalo chakwe. Na ngushufu ikishesana kai network kuno tulire bumpinga. Lero balinda Kasonde konseko muli kale balika. Na family yenu kale balika. Bamwamba na imwe ne milimo mulebo bei kale balika. Bantu akubula imwe ngatatule ofwe fintu ifingi. Lero lesa ifata amaka. Leso usifirwa. Leso upangeshi na pashaba. Tulete otera mwandini pacharo chesu cha Zambia. Fyonse fe tulete tamo. Lesa alefo kutulangu bukulu bwakwe. Bamwamba bwino nde butukira kumala wiko shiteko tusopo na imine fyo kwa bula sopo.
Thank you very much. Let's get your cause. I don't intend to stay very long. I need to take some rest, and you should understand that. So let's quickly get your views about these three issues that we are discussing today. The issue of Linda Kasonde has filed in a petition very, very well, but the online portal was closed, the courts were closed, and deadline was yesterday. But she has successfully sent that copy to the Chief Justice, and she has publicized those records. And there'll be an attempt by the state to say maybe that application is not valid. So that's number one. Number two, the issues of Honorable Mtoto Kafaya. We're briefing you that the Secretary to Cabinet has since been to the home. He made the strategic error of going with Tabo Kawana, and the family were not happy. But however, government is now working with the family of Honorable Mtoto Kafaya regarding the postmortem that should be done and regarding the issue of taking the body to Lunte and the demands for answers. So, hello, caller, please don't stay long on the line. There are so many people calling. Let's see if we can accommodate many. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Mwabombeni bamwamba ninengo. Mkwai. Aho bamwamba tatule kokola ekyo ndekwaffe okulanda kyakweba ati kyabulanda kaidi Johnson sana ukumona batabuka wana bweafika pananda ya chililo chimono okweba ati baya mukushiningi nga kyachine baona lebonga bali pusha bamwamba kyabulanda bamwamba ine chirempe shamano abantu ulu bale kitabye kwatitwa nutu nono na ufyaka naka nono tetika kitubiri biswe lero echininga landa fechakweba ati twaikala mukyalo ffe kinga tulye efyakulya fimo tupe mu mwera umo ikiremba kitira ikiripa munobe ekibina taliiwe so nomba bayashini bakweba ati bebe kona chima dumbo chiri okweba ati ekyachine alifwa pantu lya madumbo alira nde fintu fibisana pali bawona lepo kabiri lya ishu lyakwe lyafunya ikekala akesa sebana na mpaka kiteni aka 20 epo napela bamwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution. Hello caller.
Hello.
Yes caller.
Romamba ingani mstana isema youth wana kana NRP youth ngaende mustreet kutana ngani protest but for ground kwa masipali mushi because wa PNG mayuthi wonse mayuthi wao wanapasa mapanga katika ngene wanaenda kuchita goli pa that's why tio kwa maiona
yes
tio kwa nini mayuthi otherwise for ground sasa mushi wanapasa tunapanga wakati mwa kama matero kumba nani kali kumachuli kwa side kwa mapanga so tikangene azambo chana mapanga wajafuki matota kutoa dawa za tipaya mwezi wa HH simu kwa mushi mundu ipa mtima sake yalinga kulise mazambia akia inocheku vindu vaki baby ngana linya ngubina ngotsikoma.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution. Endita.
Yes, Nebo Caroline, Queens London. And therefore, if you could encourage Zambians, Yakweba, Teba Linda Veka, Abakwebati, Pulanda to Babomba Linda. What about us? It's all of us from Zambian over to Mwena, if it's Tikam Chalum Mwens, Tafiwemi. But big website, Joba Lembere, Kukuma groups, Naku Facebook, Pakta Bantu Bamoni, because from Zambian to fire, Gatuamona TA website, Joba Lembereko, and the Abantu Batstenan Kanibalembereko Bamwamba West. If this Ubulu te Wakalinda we eka, Mama Zambian won't say. Pokta Bamwene Shecharo, after I watch Tepofina, Wabika Naku media, Tinen Instakale. To have walk away because the independence Yachibiva Mambo to Leruishi. Te Aqua Linda Eka. So please, Mwebam Zambia. It's not about Linda Eka. Naimo Winefich Linda, Naifofu in a Kutu Afichta. So Tufunye Po Mwenso, Fema Zambian, Tufunye Po Mwenso. Because Tulea Nakubipa. If you're the Fokoyama Zambian Bamwamba Wish.
Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Mwamba.
Good morning.
Anonymous.
Yes, Anonymous.
First and foremost, I feel shame on behalf of my lovely president, Mr. HH. As usual, who has no censor to censor whether the things he is doing or is happening is shameless. To him, everything is all right. Yeah, I wanted to comment on Mr. Afoya's issue. It's very unfortunate, Mr. Mwamba. Very, very unfortunate. It's exactly like the statement it's like umuntu aipa umwana obe. And then aisa pachiriro. Mwamupera na platform. Amba no kupera ma comments. This is exactly what is happening. It's very, very unfortunate. It's unfortunate that even our leaders feel somebody in government, they are shameless. It's not too long when this PS, Wakawana, Rale posting about hospital. No one was shot. Yeah, shani. 2, 3, 4 days later, another person from the same government, Nokisa, did a statement. And then today, Maria Futi Kumari. It's very, very shameful. Then talking about the way forward protest, and not necessarily the protest, maybe the action we can take as Zambians. I can assure you that if there was a person, just one single person there rising up to protest, that person will be followed like Jesus Christ. People, we are not happy. Everywhere, people we are complaining. Despite the environment, yes, there are militaries, terrorisms, yes, and local youth, local Tamakata's YUPM, their immunity, Nama issues, Yama violence. But this time around, we can support whoever can raise a flag to protest. So without wasting time, Mwamba, me, I would still go for the first year in a day for Kupanga inauguration. It's better they to watch the protest so that wakale tuchita misunderstand wakale mwakati kurea ku inauguration meanwhile na tumfana kitukumani na paso. So all this time up to first wa mwamba ndemilomba let's listen to chipange fecha kusa tule chita advertise iyi TV emilayo mwingi abantu twalaishi bantu twalaikatishanya first September inauguration a day of protest. I think that's my submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Emgwai naende for kulanda kufechi ntuchimu. Ba echechi. Tawa ibire ba mundu bira mavoti. Ba echechi. Ba ibire mazambiani. Ba rungu banankare ba makepi bananka ba kweta mavoti yabiri. So ba ibire mazambiani. Milioni zambiani o ba ibire mavoti. So if into fimofile tika yawati ifoto walikuatisha sana umwe. Noku mwana fena taking advantage pa mwana ndoka tifo bakuwe. So na mwana chana nguninga wa stefili fyo sawa tapa ifu bangachi. Maka walebo mfyandi deni delanda kumutima wa reforma ba galelechi ba rungu bali kwetu umutima because basata bana nikaliba bakaunda bale batasana kuwanda then Catholic our church eba iminemo nokuvula kufuatira omuntu ngabali muloking nefe bachikakafi kuchire fichambo kulaita mazambiani ngabali bwefe bachikakafi bino bale fo kuchi bachikakefe bachikakafi then yapita na election bachikakula nomba wa Catholic bali nomba wa munachi akano kuchindika Christian akano kuchindika church ya Catholic hali kuchindika ngaba bishop Catholic hali kuchindika kufena mfe umo walawe naba iminemo munsha ya kwa chiatesa ateke wonse waishe mukushita mukuba posa nokuba pontera wonse fie nabene ba Catholic na bishwa chachine umuntu twale support ama fathers bali binemu basanga chu umuntu kashi balungu bali bwini nomba eno umuntu babika potashi echindika po Catholic aisa pontera nokupontera mazambiani kwatilimbya abazambiani ninama tabatontonga shwa sef tapari ushira Joseph Milandu bale babepesha bena ba mundu bile na bashara bale tusha bale tusha abantu ma innocent bena ba tusha mazambiani andi bayibira mazambiani tapawo omuntu bayibira ba mundu bile tababira povoti abo yali bafye ku yali pendo bayibira ama citizen ibaka bwala la bisana ante bakupera na chance ni fimi kukuru na ati hotel.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello?
Make your contribution. Tell us your name and make your contribution.
Okay, I'm nameless, calling from Zambia. Yes, yes, Ambassador. I just have a suggestion to make. Is it not possible that abantu baleti no demonstrate mu streets? Why can't uli onse panga ndabule mpoto na pani tualisha kukatushinga 10 minutes or 8 minutes tushinga 06 hours tualisha bonse mayanda tuapanga fyechongo. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. We are getting your calls. Keep on calling. And it's good you are keeping your contribution very limited. Address it, be to the point, and let us get your contributions quickly. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Mwasuken from Emmanuel Mwamba. Nene ona lero na abwera ba Mwamba nebo anonymous. Ile ine mailo na lilanda kwa tishwa brother walanda ya mapani na masharita ya konfuike. Ama moto kasi aba kwata ama moto ka ngati ni 12 hours ngante 13 hours bonse ba afe pi Never to a party like Chiruvanish, and demonstrate our voices will be heard through hooting. Everybody should hoot. Whether it's 12 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours, I feel for Charlie Party by Chiruva. It's going to work.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mashuken Mwamba.
Mkwine.
If you're not committed, just when we should not lose hope. I still have confidence that the efforts that are being made by patriots like our dear sister Linda Kasonde, very no purposes. And I've had situations.
You are cutting quickly, make your contribution.
Still remember, yes, when KPF made a submission in behalf of Edgar Chagbalongo at the time we were having the elections in 2015. These were petitions that were done at the time. Don't see anything in one petition. An online submission for the done. So,
oh, this line is very bad. It's just cracking.
yes,
Try to call again, my brother. We can't get anything.
with everything.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'm not. Make your contribution.
Ndingufama Zambians of Valera Ndoku no kuchita react so twaliafonde fokubeba mwamba ifinga tamwa imemwebene tapala bakamimina ababa ku diaspora muleli that nabakwata solution. The best they can do is write these organizations, which they have done already. They have done more than you people mweba vote. Nangulanda timuleti no kuya pa street at bakamipa ya ngamwaingira mu dictatorship. Bakamipa ya still more. Ukalafu mavya kumabala bakamiteta ula. Evo dictatorship yaba takwa bokuchita account. So nangumwikale munganda tamuli sefu. Muri kwati ni bali aba mbible aba professor baranda nangutwikale kuno tulefwa nangutuya kuda tulefwa kashi tuyafi because ngatwaya limbikuti twapusuka situation muri mwemu. So tatumya verati katobeni fintu kachitension you need to rise na imoteti mwikale mmayanda muleti nati bakamipa ya whether you like it or not they will still kill you because there's nothing good about allowing dictatorship. So you have to rise muime because mwamona nombofo bakaunda na bantu bambi bakitiremu bakwe bati mwise mkwate ile peace murefu ayati chite continue but you need to pay the price cause na iruba mulandu wakupanga mistake yakula leta ma leaders obo tatuishire bwino noko bafuma tatwa ba checking up bwino we don't know about them. So this is the time for us to rise, especially mwebeni uko. So ngamwalaika lazia ati yo bala tulio balinda Kasonde ni mbona mulechi titashare china petition by UPN dinabamba kalokita propagate tachiri valid quite okay na iba shared but you need to rise to compel that chief justice to hear this petition. Ngamwalaika lafati balinda Kasonde na bachitafao imomule ya mu dictatorship Vakamia vati pakuya kusanda pakuya kuchechi koma wasenda permit ngata ukwete permit takulikuya mukaranda ati muli ma Christians vakamia vati kukwata fyavana vaviri takulu kwata vana more than shani nishi kuisa vepaya mukarati to mwana arefuma kusukuru nga mwana kashiba amusenda vaya muchita repu nangu avene vakomando nangu vashani mukaya imini nako tamwake imini nako. So you have to fight now or forever you perish. So whichever way nangu mwikale munga andalelo you will still perish tomorrow. So better fight today to save Zambia than if you let tefia mwenso tafia mwafwe. Baraba nenu mule muna baka Burundi baraba kulotu mashopu mu Zambia baraba mutauka tabatu mpao. Ofo fiamba ababonse mule muna basunga kuma UN camp. Ofo fiambe fini. So if you want fight for your country and allow this monster to grow, Luenu. Neule mieba kofino mwina Mzambia mukabutuka mo ero imo mwaji balandlocked kachinga mkaya kukongo na kukwa befyongo kachinga mkaya kwa Angola na kukwa befyongo. Rise up and fight for your country. Mulandwa wena bale mipa ya hata bale star account bale shite fiance. Go and protest peacefully. Mwamona protest peacefully. Then mwika lefi kuika na fena kwena takwa afu awe. Umwenso tawa afu kuika na you need to be brave. You need to be brave.
Thank you, my dear sister. Let's get some other calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Mama.
Good morning.
Anonymous.
Yes, Anonymous.
Narabo tetapo gandara kabiri. Chakwe bati. Untungwa. Kachakwa chwana malta mwa ivimbembo. Kuirimba mo. Nga Winnie Mandela. Ozo buntunga mumwanena ngo bakawundiro bakokera obuntunga kwaje abana kashi
we mwa ume nuolela ndefyo leka bamayo balandefyo abamayo we mwa ume leka bamayo bailandile bamayo balatuma pano balailandila we mwa ume landefyo abaume we mwa ushakwata nenshindo bane uletumikisha ko bamayo landa festifyo benga we mwa ume.
Okay, nemwa umena alalanda so.
Yes.
Ibo ba umebonse pamonga chako bati twayirimba. Ego bati kwa mkutobe bintu awe. Ubuntu ngwaturefu okulwisha. Bachako aturekere pia ba tureke ba mwambana nguturekere ba makebi zuru ba mundubire tapali pia la twafwa. Olede na batushirire nshira ba mayo bakasonde twatotera sana. So no mbachiri kuri ifofwe ba umeno mbaifwe. Pamona abana kashitwa ibika bonse chapamo. Twime ture ya tuchite demonstrate. Aba bantu nga twamurikira Kasongo tumurekere acho chibe fini. Baka twalirira chikala bafeni fini pe yonse. Na freedom mama trenjo ikapwa nomba. Oyakesa bakiramu kwati paka 2019 tabasa kesha bila balanja. Bali landira cho tukapange minala cho shinomba pro.
Kana ba kama nan chiri gota. Wakana ifundo he. Akari mile video makodo. Da dede. Habile chareya. Ya ngana. Abasa from wemu wabunga abihangro. Ime kama owangi kuku. Game kojo wanga kuku. Kuno memeto kwa mame metonjo.
Thank you very much. Aona chikani to kwa tiole sakisha ko mayo. Iwo ure watu bamayo awe. Nga iwo mwaume. Mwaume wa bulenshindo. Awe. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Wombeni ba mwamba weso.
Ndita.
Ba mwamba inefoni ngaranda fikwati nshita pano mba Afrika. Watu ambiro okulanda bamwambala mutu wafa sana tamulala tamwa kwatani nshite ya kutusha nefinto fyo mure kitafyo nze turefi mona echirerenga na ena maria shonse ture mfoko bati ba EU barande fi chabashani murando wakulwa kweno nomba chasharira kuri fofo yewantu wewe wonso wishibyo kwe batali mire 04 ukuya mukuvote ivote kwe bate ubuteko buchinje mukuchimfyanya bamwamba pafya kwa bati yonse to alanda fwe wantu kwamba fyo kushikuwa mairo fure to ambo kuchita express ama feelings yesu mu street ukuchita protest muishire yawa nama pana kulingana nefe tulina fena concern gafwe bena Zambia question imo fure to ayipusha especially mwenise pera 2021 mwalimine nokuya votera wakateka ababa lipo n'emitima shenu n'ensansa n'okusubira okwebati baramikitira ebintu ofyo mulekabira nomba tontonkanye nyofe bamikita pali 5 years yapita pe vote mwabapere nomba muyipusha kwesheni mwebena ati nomba nga chakwebati tabamiperi omukinshi ero mwabapere vote nomba nga bayibika po abene balefu kuyibika po mumaka fikaperera pesa tabakwete ensoni n'omwenso owakumipera road shedding owakuleta cyber laws nomba what about nga chakwebati abashirika eba bapera maka yako bapo mwipushe mwabene mwemisepera nga chakwebati mwareke ekintu kyapita tanto apa balefu okuyibika po ukukana kongo bufayo bwabe na Zambia so uyonso wabikire po vote wamfire ubuchushi bwa 5 years mwayiro omuntu onse leto mwina Zambia na ngumuko te mwaiche let's express our feelings seni twende mu street no kuyirishanya tefyo ngoyiyo inefo ningalanda kufa Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mwamba.
Yes.
Aweka charo la Zambia. Wena iskala befo kutasha nkashi Yesu linda Kasonde. Hapo limwa bombele. Nombe chilensa kamika chakwebati ukumona ifyo vale chita threaten ya abantu mu Zambia bayibimbire muri chinto. Lero mbako fyabena Zambia kwa tumu bakirire nkashi Yesu. Tumubika mapepo. Ero ngakuli naba kumuchingira ba Brebner Changala na bambya abashala bamukoseleshe uli nkashi Yesu. Bantu tulefayo omuntu batampyo kumusonso mbatumfu atwamwikata iyo. Abo bonse bekete bazimba abo bakayele nabambi abantu abakumakoti abo lekeni abantu besu lekoti Yesu nga shaisa shani pali unomu wako kwebati koti besale awo ekyo twakana twabika fyonse maka yakwalesa lero tatwaikale fe twalaima ulera ngobukali bwesu tatwabonfya amabwe tatwabonfya obukali n'ensere awe but we will protest in our own peaceful manner. God bless you, Mwamba.
Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mwamba. Anonymous?
Yes, anonymous.
From Zambia. Emkoba Mwamba, nachafua njiwe kwa vene Zambia. If you kitike to Zimbabwe, ama soldiers are taking over Zambia. I mean Zimbabwe. So, ila yanse tuwale mnama soja mzambia lali ntuwale vota luja. Eku opo ya tampile palape. The coup d'etat started from there. Then, Chimbi, which on the phone that the Zambia, apart from that, if you catch take Kribata or Kawana, would you buy the Kuda Kumocha, no Kiamu, minus Okono family? Actually, the Balela, the traditional family, Naisa, Opo Ireolela. Family, Naisa, Ireolela. Then, I start playing a cheap psychology Padena Zambia. But it's not much to identify your movie. In announcement, while that movie now Sangwa. Niche family election identify, they were buying time. Family only were allowed to see the body for 22 hours. But by Saland that the body has been identified. So, to make a shape, one Russian today dealing with. Abantu bakora barefo kumuntu shani kaifani nice anumba kutufure tu abalangisha. Then itu Mwamba ina disagreeing kisha kuba tule ko buteko bwafu. Ba echofu batesalanda bakasongo batesalanda. You see, he was a militia. This one was a militia. But I was kind enough to allow government to do these things for them. We don't want that Mwamba. Ba kasongo bafo batesalanda if. Nkesa njeba. He will do something and then you come and start laughing at the family. That's the type of person that we're dealing with.
Thank you very much. There are so many calls. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello.
Yes, caller. Identify yourself and make your contribution. Mquine.
Anonymous.
Yes, anonymous.
Emkwa. Ina ndipo kweba kufia ina Zambia. Kudia lela ndo kwa yole kenfe tuli kale kenfe. Okay, once to la paper. Aini. Once to la paper no kusha tu alishi watu alifika tu alipianisha lisa fantaji. Bati, ngafuni lonse tulando kuti bati. Lesa apalamika. So, ukupepa tulete. Lero abantu abalanga chile twimine fyo tulete pafi. That pavena ngofimo fya la chitika. Elo chindi chondela ngachakwe bati. Shofine tuleta shaboke ba Linda Kasonde. She has done her part. Let's also do our part as Zambians. Before to I know Kuyam. Abana Bali follow Bambi Valley and 1 o'clock. Bayam Queen polling station. They voted because they wanted change. Now change has been denied. So Eba Fuyo Queen Mano Kabati Vai much for being a Chitako. Peaceful protest but here protest in a peaceful manner, not to go back by any fyombo. But the other couple of now was over the Palaitum. The vice of Babastan gave you Bambio Kulava shooting for the hour. Put you by in a peaceful way. Bambo Koyenda. Peaceful. Tababio Lava, who are Lava. Natasha.
Thank you very much. We keep on hearing from you. Quickly, make your contribution. Let's hear from you. You are the ones that voted. What is your view about all these developments? Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Mr. Mwamba, I'm calling from Zambia.
Yes, caller.
What I want to say is that as Zambian, we do say that we are Christian, and then we are scared about going to go and do petition. So my own view is that
if you are big, I beg.
Zambia and all the men, we need just to stand. Better to die as a fighter than to die we are sitting. So we need to make an arrangement. You need to put for those who are willing to go and petition in the streets, and then we stand up, we go and fight for this. Because our President Mundubile, he needs our strength. We need to strengthen him by doing a petition, by acting, not sitting or saying just only. Because a Christian cannot be afraid. A Christian need to say, like, even if I die today, I'll die to the right things. That is my contribution.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
Yeah, good morning. I don't know if it's morning or afternoon or evening. Yeah, my concern is that, these people, they're saying that they won the elections, but according to what we've seen so far, it's a total lie. But now I just want to urge all Zambians to arise. We don't want to leave this thing. To let it be our Kusaka, to our Kukopa belt. No. We have the most image in Tangombe. No good to demonstrate in a peaceful manner. Because these people, what they're doing is not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. Yes, we understand Zambia is a Christian nation, but all what we want is, we want things to be in order in this country since that's why we rose on that day, 18th August, to go and vote, because we know that we don't want this person. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're... Yes. London poyama wangu mwebani.
Ninevo anonymous kasama bamwamba ile ashirire chitika. Chakuwaira po ndetotera balinda pakalamba sana paukwanisha uchitafawe ni petition. Elio ngefye tulemona ngefye bonse balelanda ichirefa ikachakutira ati bonse twime bantu twamona kutira ati kulibamo abagwanishe panti twalirusa opo kutira ati tapaina mfimwe finga chitika nombopo kulisubira kutira ati fimwe kuti fya chitika ichirefa ikachakutira ati twime nokuchita support balinda nokumona kutira ati lili ashiria yapo bwino mukoti. Bamwamba nakabiri kene ndefwaya nande kulishisha mfumu
ishisha mfumu ishireteka abantu mu kyalo iryo balemona uyu eshisha inde arerufyanye kyalo bena nabekala tabale kitabwino tabula ngupano ichirefwaye kachauchira chishisha mfumu shaposa kwa mano kumono kweba chachita protect chichalo ishisha mfumu ishisha timoutira ti uyu aisaleta akachola kandarama baikara tondolo libe areona ula ichalo tabachita bwino nakalya abalechulira mu bengi efyolesa ababikira pa bufumu kumono kutira ti baesha bwino ifintu mu chalo chabo nomanga chakweba ti bena baikalira fyokula lisha fye kula ilisha fye kula umfisha wino balaba umulimo lesa abika pa parifye flo babapo nishi bale rufyanya ero pamupene bamwamba lekeni nande kuli abashunguruka uye eche akainde ichirema fye arechita chimurgo omuntu wala ipatikisha pali na mayo shwi musumine icharo cha Zambia chali mukana echechi arechita repu icharo cha Zambia nomba imwe bonse mwe bashunguruka echechi akainde ichirema mwe bamushunguruka ima mutontonka nyashani muremo no muntu alechite fintu ifili opposite no rupapuro rwa cyaro ima mure mutungirira okubika kofena abakashi bakwa echechi ushimo tamuremo no kweba tuyumurume wenu ale ipatikisha pachalo icharo ekimukene priest wa papa tabonse fye obo chikuminesha mfumu ikala fyo kumwaikala bamwamba kulili ashirimu ili achitike ili kuno kasama kwali uko pesha ma NRC kutira chikwala abo kuvota echechi achefeshe period ya kopesho ya kukopotuma NRC kuno imfu mushayikerebe tondoro abengita bakopero kuno kasama imfu mushayikerebe tondoro no mani imfu mushamusango shane osho twakwata isho shingekala nabamona abana babo barebe paya abana babo bare balonga mufifungo abantu bare chula nashika semfumusha nimfumusha musango shani shitwakwata bamwamba ero netasha pamupene fena bamwamba bachifu mwamba pamupepe apa bachifu mwamba imfumu ile kabira yaima na kabiri tasine lyose ilandira kwa abantu ime tumono kutira tina ifintu fyachinja prince wa papata ichena tuikala pofi.
Let's take your course quickly. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I'll remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution. Anonymous, make your contribution.
What we call executive coup d'etat. That's what they have committed. Meaning that as we are speaking, the president, the vice president, wants to join the and
my brother, your line is cutting. Unfortunately, we have to cut you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Greetings to you, Ambassador Mwamba, and greetings to all the listeners out there. Ambassador, inena chafokita eje Zambians nati lesa afwa aba yafwa. Nepo tulepe pama pepo that lesa toafwe tientu yafwe. Na totira. Eroba Mwamba, necha kweza pochimbi ndeti. Munga fwe kumumpele kwa namba ya wakafwimbi. Please, na totira. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wakafwimbi. We must be listening. I'll pass on the number. We'll pass on the number.
Doctor, thank you very much.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I want to make a point. Evalinda, vana vachita petition kulingana nefyo vyumfuike.
Hello, sir. My name is Kasonde.
Therefore, Winnie Mandela, she was an activist, she was a wife freedom fighter, and she was a very strong woman. And she had a very big group that she actually incited to do that. nomba balinda eba bakwate ba Winnie Mandela so batupera example ifo fwe bana mayo so nomba ifo bana mayo katwimi ne muli balinda. This is the point I want to make about Mwamba, and it's very, very important. So let's support this petition, whether it's accepted or it hasn't been accepted, but to mean straight for the Chief of Justice. So if Namayo wants a number, let's follow Balinda. Let's follow Balinda.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Manje nachira mona pari nani kane page kwa tayari arera ndatio there are no pending nani kane shani petition she fishing karangu wufi
iyo twachira ndapo bane twachira landa tubushefida ba fighting le ba linda. Is it a valid petition? Twachira ipusha.
Kai bashite online de
bashite online batu bine chief justice ero twachira landa batu bine chief justice umlandu wako eba tama courts bali sala ida tweba internet based portal nayo tayale bomba so babo mfeshefie amano batu bine ba chief justice kai leba kalamba ba judiciary
so taira nikane taira approved
efa tulela ndalimbi balaikana balaiba taikonkere process echo tuleba tinga baikana imwe what are you doing imwe na mmono mayo linda yena naye shaesha namaka ngai mwe chinshi mulechita. That's what we are discussing. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador.
Good morning.
I'll remain anonymous.
Yes, anonymous.
I'm calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, anonymous.
Yeah, I was just watching the Kenyan nullified elections. I think you recall that time. And I'm comparing with our people here. I think the people are not doing enough. Because already, I was asking myself this question to say, are we only depending on Linda? I thought we have people are putting up a lot of petitions, including the opposition itself. But all I'm seeing are people now celebrating that Linda has fouled in. So are we saying we all left it with Linda only, or we have other petitions that have gone in? And looking at what happened yesterday, as a country, I thought this morning I'll do something different, because, but all I can say is that people have cowered and they are very scared to even speak. So, in reality, I think we are accepting to say what is going on is okay. And kudos to the men and women in uniform, because they have taken it up upon themselves to scare the people of Zambia. And so sorry to see this democracy going this route, which we never expected. So this election has only been won by three arms of government, I think, or three institutions: the ECZ, the police, and the army. Those are the people that have won this election, and not the UPND. Thank you, Ambassador, and I hope to hear more from the people. But I also want to think and imagine how HH is going to rule this nation, knowing exactly that his first term was mad with insults and all the like, and that's why he even came up with cyber. So I don't know how he will manage this one, because it's very tough. Very tough. And I never even expected him to push so much for...
Oh, sorry, the line. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Mwamba, Honorable Mwamba, Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba,
I think my suggestion to all of us Zambian is that waka inde takwa wawa wapata and takuli have nga wapata, but the way is trying to get powers to remain as a president. That's what is hurting the people of Zambia. So apa inefe ninga lomba fe kubantu bonsi vya vekala chalo waba Mzambia. To show solidarity kuli ba mayo ba linda na nefe tuwaile vota. File tupange fiama placard onse bonse fi wabali kukitu wabali kukasama wabali konse all over just to make a day no kupanga fiama placard bonse fi tukashite a peaceful protest to kwenda inshina tuimiali ama bana mumulu apa kalembwe findu kulingana nefe tulepitamo nefe tuletontonkanya, so that at least we show the president that people they are not happy about whatever transpired on the election. I think that is my submission.
Thank you very much. Thank you, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
So ngani ubuteko wena takuli umuntu uri wonse uwinga mpalama na mupepi ngakuli ubuteko uri chinchinchiro umuntu uri wonse kutalande chintu nyububwire. That's why nanga abantu abali mitumina amafoni mule umfabalera ndo kwebati anonymous meaning nabakwato mweso. So shishi bene kumwine umkatu wafuira koma ubuteko mwena awo mwena nabutusirwa muntu uri wonse ko inga yapali ponse umuntu arendandawa. So kulomba ke kuti lezo kwebati ubufwaye wako kuchitiko umepo fyafika pano a contribution yendina squad theory.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Thank you very much, Mwamba. I remain anonymous.
Thank you.
Mwamba, I want to make a contribution because the issue that we are discussing is a national issue. I don't know what these people, leaders of other political parties, because they've left it to only Brian Mundubile. Because by HH once they are done with Brian Mundubile, they will come to Bakalava, they will come to Membe and all that. So I don't know how you can engage these people. So that, because even if we want to rise as a people, we need to have a leader who should lead us to do that in order for us. Because so we need someone to spearhead all these things. And this falls on Kalava because they are now quiet, they are not doing anything. And they are thinking HH is only targeting Mundubi. From there, you come to them. So, Mwamba, I don't know how best we can engage these people so that they... Because Nangutulandi Atavantu to feel time. Who are we? Who should be our leader in order for us to rise? I thank you, Mwamba.
Inefyo namona yonsa ama demonstration whether ni aya kwa America aya kuisa abantu nga bayishita organize abene ntungrushilesa Martin Luther King ale mona fyo kuli demonstration aya ibika na kuntanji nonga mrefu ari karabashita organize demonstration bala mu ikatati is planning treason ngamrefu Fred member apange demonstration bala mu ikatati treason. This is a citizen issue. Mwebene mwebantu. If you are kwati mrefu aye ntungurushe ifinde mieba. Mrefu Donald Trump amilandireko. Mrefu ama ngaba embassies bamilandireko. But when it comes to doing things, apa futi nomba mrefu aye ntungurushe. It should be a citizen issue yourself. You know? So that's what I would advise. We keep on looking for someone. We want to have an excuse why someone should organize us. You know, no one will organize you if you are interested. Kukinya bapangile peka Facebook. Walanda tuwala kumana pa post office pa 10 hours. Once who's coming? Once and the page grew. You have over 30,000-40,000 and people turned up at the post office. the following day. Bushama citizens takwa wenga chitefio. Murefu akalabalanda ati mwema citizens let's protest bamuikate. Because that's a plan of any dictator. He isolates you. And that's what he has done. But he can't isolate the mass citizens. He cannot. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution. Endita.
So, abafwe na Zambia ifisha tuchikiro mku wako walilapo. Elo ngamwamona tuwabelesha wa police. Ba police bali educated in a manner of cooperating with people. Na pela besa mku wa violence wa police, you are able to talk to them. Nomba alilanjiri akainde chemo asalandat ine ba policing abafirwa nkaleta amasoja. I'm sure you all remember those words he pronounced. So alishibeta amasoja wetangani wa commando abe na special forces taba kwata time ya kulanda no muntu kuipusha kumumfa chalalanda. For them they act immediately. But the police mwena ngule wali munani mu kuishi zetu uli nani is it what is the Tonga wale mpokolola kuni police because the police understands how to protect a citizen. Now we know in the police never quite their heart, but they have been completely paralyzed. So now we have any navale tamboche wa mfoluse, but they've got no part to play. So echo mle mwana cha abantu mu Zambia na abakwata hati yako watu wachita protest peacefully without any offense, but those people they will come with brutality. People will go in rampant. So, we are all ready to fight for our country, for our nation. This is the problem by Emmanuel Mwamba. Not hotel.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello?
Yes, Anonymous, make your contribution.
Yeah, to understand about demonstration, peaceful demonstration, which is okay, if we're doing that, to celebrate for event. But is there any other way of compelling this government to do the right thing? I believe my demonstrations are about so the fish before doing that. Pandeni kwa mano kwena mwene mstuma tupanda kwa mano. Fish before doing that apart from my demonstrations ba Mwamba.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Anybody will won't fight you. Come there.
Yes, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Iletiko kantu kamene kama futa kumutima letiko uyo sakubonda lafu yake impossible osabu
for president baba wina shani na abantu abade honest president but for wana vela kero ba vote really. That's the reason why each other to be
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Mr. Mwamba, mine is just a concern and I'm just worried because if you remember very well, 2 years ago, that opposition leader from Congo, what he said, it is exactly what is happening in our country. Is it that he's a prophet or what? Because me, I'm worried and I'm scared. And as a country, sure, as a nation, how have we allowed ourselves to reach here where we are right now?
What did the leader from Congo say? What did the leader from Congo say? People may not know.
No, that man exactly explained what is happening right now. It's what he said in that video. I think I'll look for it and then I'll post it to you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Oh, the line is cut. Keep on calling before we close. Keep on calling, we hear from you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
I'm a mandate to me St. Dorothy Kono.
Mkwai
That's enough for Kulanda Nati. Alanama Soja Bene, Emma Bajava Shitem and Refchik Mchalo. Emma Badi, never been dates them if Rambo shooter Shavandu. Our peaceful away. Alechi, she let that she Lamundumo. Never support a Robin Echkavasanga Pantecha Mundumo. Mkwai Pona Pelam Kwai.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, good morning, Anonymous. I will remain anonymous.
Thank you. Thank you, Anonymous. Make your contributions.
Yes, Mwamba. My contribution is it's not easy here in Zambia to do the demonstration. Reason being that from the time of elections, there are police all over. Mutauni, abasoja, konse fyoko muleya. Takuli na bantu ko benga fumina. Kuli fuma moto ka fia blue, fia abasoja everywhere. So nango abantu kwati they demonstrate. It's not possible. So that's my contribution. We can support Linda, but what people cannot even demonstrate because they are all over. Everywhere. So people are scared. Demonstrate. That cannot. All of it again, permit.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Yes, Anonymous, make your contribution.
I love to live.
Network is terrible. Let's get another one. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I will remain.
Thank you.
Yes. So, for me, Mr. Mwamba, I think it's high time that the country moved forward. Because everything that we are busy going back and forth, it's high time that we accept what happened. We prepare for 2031. Right now, we just have to move forward and strategize. We need to go back to the drawing board. Because every few months, every end up at a party finger.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Hello, caller. Please listen to me. Don't listen to your audio.
Hello?
Yes, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
My name is Lufa. I'm calling from the live.
Okay.
Yeah, my contribution is about what's happening in our country for this moment. Yeah, when we see what's happening in our country, we are in danger. Because constitution yasalo.
Switch off the other device, my brother. You are listening to yourself. Switch off the other device.
Yes, so I'm saying party constitution.
constitution yachalo nayo ba mudenja and constitution yachalo yali mudenja palafu ene baishire voter bill 7 yabene beka ba president. So hii problem tukwete hii kulu sana. The problem we know no Zambia because bill 7 ine eilengele hii government ili po kwambukura sitefiaso. So ikintu cyondelanda kufuta kintu kubantu abalanda okweba ati bake mama soja no kusta brutality nga kwabo kwimo kusta protest. Takuri musoja unge mogasta kuyambo kuma abantu awe. Ngato ayibukisa ku Tanzania takwali oba umine na ngumu amasoja bale tambafi. So protest kustwasta.
Awe Tanzania amasoja balipa abantu. I just want to correct you there. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Mkwai.
Nine senior citizen.
But senior citizen and then
Mkwai. Ichile papisha chakutila ukutamka inshita ileya. Tulelanda fimo na fimo tre umfasa fimo na fimo ifilelandwa. Nambango mutu tunguru ilio kweba chaba nenu kufenya ifyo wachitireni Tanji teti tuwaisha na koi yo tuwakulala feso fine teti fititenga tuwaime feso fine ama bumba. Kushekwe naba awema soldier zaba kutuba tuipa ya bonse. Au tulingile tuwachitapo chibu mwani awena malawe ifyo wachitire. Hero ifo ni ishture mwana no kuti ifo kuti tuwaisha na kuda meta kuli yo bonse fie life has gone on like bonse fili nomo. Ichi chintunga tuwachisuminisha. Tata tukachula ni fuego. Eri awo baleti yo tukafwayo obushuku tukafwale blaki. Ushafilanga ni mfwala blaki ndi munganda. Ni dishi tulechi tafishi tapalifu tulechi ta. Mwebana imeni Eko bali bana mai bonse ifo ene bondi wa ipelo kutwai matwaya iminna twatampa apo pele twinga tampira ngani pai koti ngani kwisa.
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you, senior citizen. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
I'm calling from Kawe. Good morning, Mwamba.
Good morning.
You know what is happening in our country now? We are fighting against our enemy. Masoja besuna batwalukira. In short, because soldier they are the one who is supposed to protect us, our citizens. Number soldier, I'm official our president. Hello, I'm a soldier now. We have a quibati. Never quite a relatives. Our fight protection. The Tabaka Quanish to protect our relatives who are already affected. We are all affected in Zambia. So, only thing happen, we need to fight for our rights. Never to no wonder we should also stand and fight what to be liberated for the second time. That is my contribution, sir.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
I'm Grandma.
Endita.
Yeah, ningekuwa abantu olende yo tukasanga wa polisi ama soja shani. Soja tufile tatufile okulyala bachimu chakwa bati kulina makatas. Iyi group trade ngana yi ndi. Tibai mafi na makatas. Ndabali kwata na group yabo kanyo mbele pesa wana wati bidishi. Kanshi ba kwata na group yabo. So what I can just appeal to them, just when that protest starts, let the army protect us. The Zambia police protect us because we'll be doing a peaceful protest. The Zambia army, it's their duty to protect the citizens in such cause. So, so today, for Zambia, those men, few men, or a lot of men actually, that remain with honor in the army. To protect the citizens and the land.
Thank you very much. I'll be closing in the next 15 minutes. If you have anything to say, say it. I'm closing in the next 15 minutes. Let's hear from you.
Hello?
Yes, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Though I can't hear you properly here, but in quite suggestion, according to the protest because if you look what is happening now, it's not making sense. They've clamped all the institutions and Takulia got so many to meeting or to meet anywhere. So like if I watch the Kenya location here in post office. Why can't we also, since we don't have a leader, why can't we also make a location as a US embassy? Because if we go that route, America will surely come in. Once a location is we have a fair in US embassy. So that if you never register, if you are abantu kushitashanja baka imwenero kuimwena bekama Americans kulia kwa tifireshtika ni ifimcharo chesu. So location on this suggest. This is a suggestion and I'm just hoping that everyone should follow this. Location in Ifo American embassy.
Now my brother, let me just advise. American embassy abela kuisa.
That is in Nibex.
Nubanga ba ishiba koko queen.
Mwamba.
Hello, abantu mabasi yanga benga kwela okusayisa ku American embassy. No, I'm just interested. Abanenwa for central position. Ngoba mingakumana bonse. Tetutwala abantu kwakho bathi ngabapanga fe one road block bonse ba Mr. Block. So you should think like that.
Okay. So, okay, that was just my suggestion.
Yes, okay, I agree with you. No, just thinking aloud with what you were saying.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. No. You've made your suggestion. Let's hear what others will say.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mr. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to listeners. Thank you so much for this wonderful program because this is the only thing that now keeps us going. Always look forward to be on the program. Yes, on the issue of protesting, in as much as we would like to protest, but like the previous caller mentioned, to say they are arming soldiers everywhere in the street, the police officers, and those people are not remorseful. You saw how they were, throwing the tear gas canisters everywhere, even at the rally. People are just waiting to see the president on the roadside. Or that, throw the tear gas canisters everywhere. They don't even mind whether kids or people passing everywhere. So in as much as we are ready to protest, but we are looking at those things, even the person that will go to get the payment.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I'm calling from Zambia.
Yes, make your contribution.
We can have a central location where we can do the demonstration at Freedom Statue Ground. There it's big. Then we don't even need the politician to come and dress us. I was thinking that we can invite Madam Beauty Katebe, Linda, and Mr. Changala, then even LAZ and the part of Catholic bishops to come and address us. We can organize it like on Saturday, this coming Saturday, or 10 hours, or next week Saturday. That's my submission.
Thank you very much. Hello, callers. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mwashukeni.
Endita.
I'm calling you from Lusaka, and I would like to remain anonymous. I just want, I've just been following quietly or attentively, but I'm so disappointed with some of the suggestions people are bringing up. Like that one who was saying, we just accept and move on. Let me just give a short example, like Feva Nagashi. You love this man so dearly, and then you happen to hear that he has a man, he has a girlfriend, we tend to fight for that. So equally with us, we love our country, we love our democracy, and we can't just accept so easy to say, chinja, we move on. That is not right. And apart from that, that's the clip we always play to say, but Malawi Bantu. They did not wait for any leader to fight for them. It's us, the people. And even the same Bible says, faith without action. Now, if you are putting so much negatives before we take an action, how are we going to achieve that? Because I've seen a lot of people with negative answers, suggestions. No, soldiers, are we going to fight the soldiers? Have we tried and see that bad people? Yes, we've seen what happened in my elections, because that was planned. That was planned. So I don't know how we are going to fight for it. If one, we have Umwenso. Two, we cannot even take any move because we are thinking of our soldiers. Are we going to fight them? Are we going to start them? I think we need to move from that. And another suggestion, why can't we also start now writing messages on their pages? Like when we say we want change, we don't want your leader. That is another protest that we can do, maybe. All their pages that are well known, the pages that are, we can still do that. I think that is another way we can take. We write a lot of messages condemning and rebuking the president. Maybe it can help. I submit, Ambassador. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I will remain anonymous.
Yes, make your contribution.
All right. I want us to go to the book of Ecclesiastes 10, verse 7. It says, I have seen slaves on horses and princesses walking on the ground. So I think we can now confirm that the servant is hiding, and or a slave is on the horses, and these servants are in position. So from what you have observed, I think the Bamdara Valley loser. So everyone can confirm. And let's say you are a graduate and then you buy fabricated stories from the government. Shows that you're insulting education institutions. Because yes, and I think we should also come up with a group. Other than that, we move on. We should not move on. Move on. And then if we should move on after no, that won't happen. Let's open a WhatsApp group or even a WhatsApp group. So Facebook group, we come up with a plan so that to catch the match or to demonstrate. Although when we do that, we are forming about my groups, it's the confusion that it's us. But no matter what, we must stand for Zambia. Kakuru some lives yes for our kids to have freedom then to have. So that was my contribution.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Mr. Mwamba, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear brother.
Yes, I will choose to remain anonymous, Mr. Mwamba. First and foremost, allow me to applaud you, to thank you for the wonderful job that you are doing in trying to make sure that our democracy is protected, as our democracy is upheld. Mr. Mwamba, this issue, we must call it by the rightful name. And the right name that we can call this is a coup d'etat. Zambia is experiencing a coup d'etat right now. Whichever word people may want to call it, but I am calling it by its rightful name. Zambia has been ransacked, Zambia has been taken for a ride. However, calls for people to come together to unite, I personally agree with that, and I would like to suggest that why don't we take up the area around the United Nations so that we can come together, all Zambians, all those that love Zambia, that love peace, that love democracy. We don't want to see what is happening in other countries. We want every peace-loving Zambian to come together. And there's no better place where we can come together than the United Nations. The United Nations centrally located. Everybody can access that from every angle, from Kalingalinga, from mass media, from anywhere. Everybody knows where the UN building is.
Where is the UN building? Where is the UN building?
The UN, Mr. Mwamba, is in Longacres, right?
No, you should tell me. Tell me if you know where it is quickly.
I'm telling you, the UN is in Longacres. Just, I think, just after mass media, as you are going towards Longacres, just after mass media, there's a UN building there.
Okay. No, I wanted to understand if you even know where it is. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution. We are remaining with 4 minutes before we close.
I just remember good morning, Ambassador. I'll make this very short and clear. It is a shame and a pity to see Africans, not only in general in Zambia, as Africans, to fail to take responsibility of their freedom when we saw our forefathers fight for this same freedom that today people are taking advantage of. The youths today are a disgrace to themselves for not standing up against this kind of oppression. Many of you in the streets shout, Traore, Traore, let the spirit of Traore live. When we ourselves are facing a crisis that needs ourselves to take responsibility and fight for this oppression and this democracy. The West will never support us if you really understand the game and how it's played behind the doors. The West shall never support the people. The people themselves should take this in their hands and protest and see and fight for the future. That's all I can say. I won't take much of the time, but we have to take it in our own hands. It doesn't matter whether it is UN grounds, whether it is where, as long as it is the people and the people's will should speak. Thank you, Ambassador.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mr. Mwamba.
Yes, caller.
Yes, I'll remain anonymous. Mr. Mwamba, I think I support the other caller who said, let's just warn some supporters, let's just go to UN. We also did like Malawi. Let's just organize. We go peacefully. Zambia is a democratic nation. Let's just organize once because the government Mwamba ni mama dictators. They will kill us, Mr. Mwamba. Let's all the people will go there. We will remain in peace so that once if you are over to Monatoke for to reach the fee, we want peace in Zambia. Otherwise, let's put effort all the Zambians. Thank you, Mwamba.
2 minutes before we close the program, and thank you for your contribution. Let me take the last few calls. We have to close. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning.
Good morning. Got cut. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
From Chama.
Yes, make your contribution and speak louder.
I think the best way we can do on this protest is we encourage the youths, the women, and all the men to do the protest nationwide. In each district, we demonstrate the same thing. And we also advise not to carry anything, but just the banners, and we do it peacefully. We don't want this president to be president. Wow. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm taking the last calls. On top of the hour we close, we need to take some rest. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
My contribution is that why don't we work through the churches and the organizations that we have? Probably we meet in the places where we gather, like the churches as groups. So we meet in places like community halls. Yeah, something like that.
Thank you very much. Someone is saying, why don't we use in our places worship sanctuaries? Another good move, but the church may be accused of fomenting the protests. Let it be a citizen issue. God bless you. We'll speak to you tomorrow. We'll speak to you later in the day. For me, it will be tomorrow. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified. Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified.
News by social media. Mundubile masoja ya muenela. They aimed at his life. Kaili mavote yeve bana mubela. Mavote walipela mundubile. But my results need different story. You stole his vote. We are now a military state. Who will speak for the people? Now that Kafwaya Mwapaya. If votes are stolen, then what is the purpose of elections? Democracy is dying. Mutotweba. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Ugu vota. Washi. Washi. He came in power on democracy. He now has power through hypocrisy. Constitution is dead in front of foreign cameras. Apanomba bomfyama soldier. You attack the boys at midnight without regard for their life. Finshimuti Nabakateka with guns. Abateka, no goofy. Who killed Mutotwe Kafwaya? Who sent the assassins? Justice, not rhetoric. Noti Ubufyatini militia. A stupid excuse used to persecute the opposition. The fake treason. Democracy is dying. Mutotweba. Fire. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. Democracy soldier. Ubuteko now uses guns. Democracy thrown in guns. What is the purpose of the Constitution? Ballet to take out with guns. You detain opposition to avoid competition. Democracy is dying. Mutotweba. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Democracy is you.